Should you rent a home, or should you buy one? Meet Bob. He's ready to buy his first home. And meet Harry. He'd rather rent. At first, the choice seems pretty simple. One gets a home, the other gets flexibility. But the answer isn't as simple as you might think. So let's put the numbers side by side. We'll start with Bob, our first-time homebuyer. Then we'll see what Harry does with his money instead. And we'll calculate the real cost of both choices. Because monthly payments don't tell the whole story. Let's start with Bob and see exactly what he's getting into. Bob is a first-time buyer looking at a typical American home. He walks inside and immediately starts imagining it as his own. For our example, the home costs $372,000. And that price makes Bob stop and think. So he sits down and calculates his down payment. With 10% down, Bob needs $37,200. The remaining $334,800 becomes his mortgage. Now he has to choose his mortgage terms. Let's assume an interest rate of 6.7%. That puts his principal and interest payment at about $2,160 a month. Sounds manageable, right? Not so fast. That's only the mortgage. Bob also has property taxes. He has homeowner's insurance. And sooner or later, something in the house will need fixing. Maybe a pipe leaks. Maybe the HVAC system needs a repair. Suddenly, the costs start adding up. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Bob puts all of those expenses into the calculator. And now we can see his real monthly cost. About $3,040 per month. That's the number we need to compare with renting. Now, let's meet Harry. Harry lives in a similar place, but he rents instead. And his monthly housing cost is much lower. Now let's add everything together. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and mortgage insurance. Bob's estimated all-in housing cost is about $3,040 per month. And that's before things like HOA fees or major unexpected repairs. Now, let's see what Harry is paying to rent. Harry lives in a comparable rental property. His rent is about $1,965 per month. That's roughly $1,075 less than Bob's estimated ownership cost. That's almost $13,000 of cash flow difference every year. And this is where many people stop the comparison. They say, renting is cheaper. But cheaper monthly payments don't automatically mean more wealth. Because Bob is building equity in his home. And Harry has to decide what to do with his extra cash. If he spends it, renting may not help him build wealth. But if Harry invests it, the story changes. And that's where the real math begins. Here's one of the biggest mistakes people make. They compare rent directly with a mortgage payment. But a mortgage payment has two important parts: interest and principal. Interest is an expense. Principal reduces the amount Bob owes on the house. So part of Bob's payment is actually increasing his equity. But there's a catch. Early in a 30-year mortgage, a large portion of the payment goes toward interest. That means Bob doesn't build equity as quickly as he might expect. Still, every month, his loan balance slowly decreases. Let's fast forward 7 years. After 7 years, Bob has paid down roughly $31,000 of principal. So his mortgage balance is lower. But now we have another major question. What happened to the value of his house? Let's assume Bob's home appreciates by 3% per year. Important? That's an assumption, not a guarantee. Real estate prices can rise, fall, or stay flat. But we need an assumption to compare the two strategies. So let's use 3% annual appreciation. After 7 years, Bob's $372,000 home could be worth roughly $458,000. That's a significant increase in value. And Bob still owes around $304,000 on his mortgage. So, before selling costs, his equity would be roughly $154,000. At this point, buying looks pretty good. But we're not finished. Because Bob doesn't get to keep all of that equity if he sells. Selling a house costs money too. And that expense can change the entire calculation. Let's say Bob decides to sell after 7 years. His home is worth approximately $458,000. But selling isn't free. There can be commissions and other transaction costs. For our example, we'll use an illustrative 6% selling cost. 6% of $458,000 is roughly $27,500. So, Bob's $154,000 of equity drops to roughly $126,000 after selling costs. That's still a significant amount of money. But now we need to compare it with Harry. Because Harry didn't spend his money on a down payment. And he didn't pay closing costs. So what happened to Harry's money? Remember the money Bob used for his down payment? Harry still has that money available. Bob spent about $37,200 on the down payment. And let's also allocate $13,400 for transaction processing costs. That is approximately $50,600. Harry could invest that money instead. Let's assume a 7% average annual investment return. Again, that's an assumption, not a guarantee. After 7 years, the initial investment could grow to approximately $111,000. But Harry also has another advantage. His monthly housing cost is lower. Remember that $1,075 monthly difference? What if Harry invests that difference every month? Now we're talking about serious compounding. Under our assumptions, Harry could potentially build an investment portfolio of around $187,000. That's significantly more than Bob's estimated net home equity. So does renting win? Under these specific assumptions, it does. Harry ends up with around $195,000 invested. But remember, this result depends heavily on our assumptions. Change just a few numbers, and the result can change dramatically. Let's test some different scenarios. First, what happens if home prices don't rise? Imagine Bob's home stays around $372,000. His mortgage balance still goes down, but he doesn't get the benefit of appreciation. That makes buying less attractive financially. Now let's flip the assumption. What if home prices rise faster? Say home prices grow 5% per year. Now Bob's equity grows much faster, and suddenly buying looks much more attractive. This is why there is no universal answer. Your local housing market matters. So does your mortgage rate, and so does how long you plan to stay. If you're moving in 2 or 3 years, buying can become much harder to justify, because transaction costs hit you much harder. But if you're staying 10 or 15 years, the math can look very different. Time is one of the biggest advantages of owning. Your mortgage payment can stay relatively stable, while rents can increase over time. Imagine Harry's rent increases 3% every year. His $1,965 rent won't stay there forever. And that changes the long-term comparison. There's another factor people forget. Inflation. Money today isn't worth exactly the same 10 years from now. That matters when we're comparing 20 or 30-year decisions. There's also maintenance. A common rule of thumb is around 1% of the home's value per year. That would be about $3,700 a year on Bob's original home value. Some years might be much cheaper. Other years could be brutally expensive. A new roof can cost thousands. So can an HVAC system or major plumbing repair. Renters don't usually pay for those major structural repairs. That's part of what the rent is paying for. But homeowners get more control. They can renovate, remodel, paint, or change the property however they want. Harry has less responsibility, but also less control. So we're really comparing two different lifestyles. Buying gives you ownership and control. Renting gives you flexibility and lower responsibility. Neither is automatically better. It depends on your situation. So, what should a first-time buyer actually do? Start with the total monthly cost, not just the mortgage payment. Next, build an emergency fund. Homeownership can create unexpected expenses. Don't put every dollar you have into the down payment. Keep cash available for emergencies. And compare multiple mortgage offers. Even a small difference in interest rate can save you thousands. Finally, think about how long you'll stay. If you're unsure you'll stay for several years, renting may give you more flexibility. If you know you want to stay long-term, buying may make more sense. But don't buy just because you think you have to. Buying a home is a financial decision, but it's also a lifestyle decision. The smartest choice is the one that fits both. Your income, your savings, your local housing market, and your long-term goals. So, renting versus buying isn't really about which one is cheaper. It's about which strategy helps you build the life and wealth you actually want.